Yes, chirichita, yes, from not technical for bantu. Technical for bantu, bantu. Ssemakadde agenda kwogera ku eri eggwanga pulezidenti wa Law Society, Uganda Law Society, balawyers bonna mu Uganda wuuyo agenda kwogera ku eri eggwanga kyali Ssekika anti mumanyi sí. Ssemakadde ayogerako eri eggwanga. Kyaleese kyonna kika. Ssemakadde agenda kwogerako eri eggwanga. Naye bannange kago Midland kago ofa kinensi. Werinda webeerako ogenda mulaba omulimu gwe. Midland soko kyeyalinga kalinga ako ono bikyaleeta jjukira ye pulezidenti w'abaaki okategedde bulungi naye olina efujjo kirabika oli wakavuyo. Nga pulezidenti wa Law Society Ssemakadde agenda kwogerako eri eggwanga abadde abuze.
My name is Philip Munagi. I'm the Secretary of Uganda Law Society. We are seated as council, and as we have informed you in various fora, ours will be business unusual. We have today called this meeting together with the presser, and we know that members have not heard from us for quite some long time, especially after we issued Executive Order number 1. So there could have been mixed reactions. But as we are seated as council, our regional colleagues are online. The agenda for today's program is we shall have a short prayer from our prayer minister, the central representative, who is the president of this region. We shall have a communication from the president, and we shall go into the major reason why we have called this meeting, which is the launching of Executive Order RNB2 of 2024. After that, we shall have media reactions, and then the media will be allowed to hold small pressers or individual pressers with the different members. I will immediately pass on agenda item 1 to Mr. Geoffrey Fiamusi.
Thank you so much.
And as you pray, it should also be noted that this is a godly moment, not only for Uganda Law Society, not only for the members of Uganda Law Society, but also for the entire country. And we can't take it for granted. Let's pray. Father in heaven, we thank you for this wonderful day. For you say in your word that this is the day you have made. Indeed, this is the day you have made for us and for this country, Uganda. As we commence this activity for today, may you be in charge and may you take the lead. We believe one thing, that this is a godly moment, this is a godly opportunity, and this is a godly way we are leading. We thank you and we bless you. Amen.
We then have a communication from the president, a few remarks.
Good morning, colleagues. Thank you for joining us. For our council representatives from the regions, as well who are online, and our members who are online, we are grateful for your company, taking out time from your busy schedule to be part of this godly moment of our radical new bar leadership. I have prepared some remarks to make ahead of the main event of the day, and they are as follows. The legal profession is special because it touches people's lives in so many different and important ways. This does not mean that lawyers are special or even important, just that they do special and important work. This is our profession. The law is an argument, and arguments are not always comfortable. Like all successful professionals, lawyers are entitled to expect to achieve some comfort on their lives as a reflection of their successful careers. The problem is when proper, ethical, and effective service delivery becomes the price of this comfort. Now, when the service to be delivered is justice, this becomes a social and national crisis, because justice itself is special and important. Standing up and arguing for justice is not always, if at all, ever comfortable. It's a struggle. As a whole, we are all working within a legal system that we know is not working properly. As a whole, we are all working within a legal system that we know is not working properly. It is dysfunctional. And this is part of the wider dysfunction of how we are governed as a whole. This has brought a lot of suffering to Ugandans. Some interaction. We are joined by our council member from Eastern Uganda, Mr. Edman. Yeah. Thank you, Eddie, for joining us. We are discussing some early remarks I make ahead of the main event, and you found me discussing the dilemma of comfort interfering in our professional duty as lawyers who must be aiding others in the struggle for justice. When we choose comfort over everything else, what harm do we do? I'm submitting that it brings a lot of suffering to Ugandans and others exposed to the Ugandan legal system in the form of delayed trials, expensive trials, clearly unfair judgments, wrongful arrests, and kangaroo justice, where basically the state is taking people hostage. People have lost lives, liberty, limbs, jobs, careers, property, inheritances, relatives, and good names as a result of some lawyers choosing comfort ahead of duty. This is why some of our colleagues who have chosen to simply find places within the public part of the law industry and then hold on to a comfortable job by keeping quiet on non-duty, and from 2020 to 2024. On both occasions, there were no elections. One wonders how anybody in their capacity individually justified how they ended up there, how they even got a second term. But anyway, despite the obvious and mounting crisis in the way law is being practiced in Uganda and justice being denied to all, our colleagues in the Judicial Service Commission have done nothing of note to speak or act out against the dysfunction and mismanagement inside the judiciary that they are surely able to see with their own eyes since 2016, which is nearly a whole decade. Colleagues, their most successful achievement was to increase remuneration for themselves, now to the tune of over 35 million shillings per month as a retainer. The work to be done in the Judicial Service Commission is commendable and ought to come with an adequate retainer for those who take out time from their legal practice to do it, no doubt. But it is work that must be done. They have a car now, they have the same perks like a judge. But what is the value for money? The bar has in 2 extraordinary general meetings asked these questions, and there was a cover-up by previous councils. We are being open and accountable to the members who thought this was a serious issue to them. The worst part of it was to accept the bending and breaking of the laid down rules of the profession to keep hanging onto these jobs Not, I must emphasize, in order to try and do good there, but in order to keep on doing nothing. This is what we mean about professional comfort being bought at the expense of service delivery. Justice is sacrificed at the altar of personal career development and status. We are not attacking the person. We are attacking the personal failure to be professional. This has been as much the fault of those who sent and allowed Miss Ruth Sebatindira and Miss Nora Matovuminyi to illegally go to the Judicial Service Commission and remain there, uncorrected and not accounting. We have not received any report from our representatives in the Judicial Service Commission regarding the business there. At no point have they even sought to consult us, despite the fact that some of our members have harrowing stories to tell whenever they have interfaced with the Judicial Service Commission, including corruption, bribery, and sexual harassment. So it is therefore painful and hurtful to have to come to this moment when we must hold them accountable at the tail end of their tenure. There must now be an election. And they too are free to stand as candidates if they have no shame. If lawyers will not follow their own laws, then who should obey any rule? Why should even the sun bother to rise in the morning? As we promised during our campaign to get elected, we came to put a stop to this culture by cleaning up and getting us all back in the right direction. I am grateful for my colleagues in council for having unanimously given their consent to the event of the day, which is the launch of Executive Order number 2, R&B number 2 of 2024. Today we continue with our mandate, and I will immediately read the Executive Order as I've been instructed by Council to do so. So this is the Executive Order we are launching. It looks like this. Yeah. So we will now read the Executive Order. We will now read the Executive Order. Executive Order, Uganda Law Society, Executive Order R&B number 2 of 2024, and halting unfair judicial recruitments. Whereas the High Court of Uganda at Kampala, in miscellaneous cause number 129 of 2023, Kalari Stephen versus Uganda Law Society, ULS, delivered a judgment on the 2nd February 2024, declaring that the current practice of appointing Uganda Law Society representatives to statutory bodies without holding elections was a breach of the 1956 Uganda Law Society Act, Chapter 1305 of the Revised Laws of Uganda 2023 edition, and the Uganda Law Society Elections Regulations 2016. And whereas Uganda Law Society is committed to upholding the rule of law, promoting democratic principles within the organization, and advocating for a just and accountable judiciary, and whereas Uganda Law Society recognizes the critical need to uphold the integrity and credibility of the Judicial Service Commission, JSC, and ensure that appointments to the bench are based on merit, equality, transparency and accountability, and whereas the ULS is deeply concerned about the recent trend of judicial recruitments that have disregarded these principles, leading to widespread public dissatisfaction and undermining confidence in the judiciary, now therefore, the Uganda Law Society, through its newly elected council, by virtue of the authority vested in it by Section 10 of the Uganda Law Society Act and the Uganda Constitution, hereby issues this executive order to address the concerns enumerated below. Number 1, recalling unelected society representatives. All individuals who were appointed as Uganda Law Society representatives to the Judicial Service Commission and other statutory bodies without being elected according to the provisions of the Uganda Law Society Elections Regulations 2016 are hereby recalled. This directive applies with immediate effect to Ms. Ruth Sebatindira and Ms. Nora Matovuini, who have been unconstitutionally and unlawfully holding out as Uganda Law Society nominees to the Judicial Service Commission since 2016. And all such appointees except for those currently representing the Uganda Law Society at the Law Council. The Uganda Law Society shall immediately withdraw the notice of appeal filed by the former Uganda Law Society Council in relation to the Kalari decision, which is titled Miscellaneous Cause number 129 of 2023, and we shall also communicate this recall directive to the relevant statutory bodies and to the individuals concerned. Bolstering internal democracy. The Uganda State Elections Committee shall immediately execute its mandate as provided for in Regulation 13 of the Uganda State Elections Regulations 2016, which states, and I quote, where any law requires the representation of the society on a statutory or other body, the Elections Committee shall notify the members of the society of the day and place for the election of the society representatives. In accordance with Section 15 of the Law Society Act, the Uganda Society Council shall no later than 31st December 2024 convene an extraordinary general meeting to elect Uganda Law Society representatives to the Judicial Service Commission and for all other statutory bodies except Uganda Society representatives to the Law Council who were duly elected. The Council shall provide all necessary support and guidance to the Elections Committee to ensure that the aforementioned elections are conducted in a fair, transparent, and accountable manner consistent with the provisions of the regulations and all relevant laws. Commencing radical surgery of the judiciary. The Uganda Law Society shall today launch a comprehensive campaign to advocate for a radical surgery of the judiciary, emphasizing the need for 3 salient factors. The first one, merit-based appointments. A system for judicial appointments that prioritizes merit, experience, and proven ethical conduct and legal competence above all else. Number 2, transparency and accountability. We shall insist on clear and transparent procedures for shortlisting, participatory vetting, and appointment, including robust public scrutiny and robust accountability mechanisms. Henceforth. Number 3, equal representation. The Uganda Society, which I lead, shall insist on representation within the judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission that reflects not only the diversity and inclusivity of the Ugandan legal profession, but also the national character. The Uganda Law Society shall have a final say on the suitability of candidates for judicial office henceforth, because it is the Uganda Law Society that knows them better. And we shall also advocate for increased public participation in the composition and operation of the Judicial Service Commission in terms of Article 146 of the Sub-Article 2 of the Constitution, including public hearings and opportunities for public input during the appointment process and disciplinary proceedings of judicial officers. The Uganda Law Society shall facilitate a nationwide call for complaints from members of the bench, the bar, and the public regarding issues of corruption, impunity, non-performance, incompetence, and other concerns within the judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission. These complaints shall be compiled and presented to Cabinet, Parliament, and other relevant authorities for appropriate action. Halting unfair judicial recruitments. The Uganda Law Society, cognizant of the malignant decay and decadence of the judiciary and the Judicial Service Commission, shall take drastic measures to halt any judicial recruitment processes that do not adhere to the principles of merit, equality, transparency, and accountability. The Uganda Society strongly urges the President of the Republic of Uganda, Parliament, and the Judicial Service Commission to review any recent appointments that have violated these principles and to take appropriate corrective action, including revoking such appointments. Effective dates. This executive order shall take effect immediately upon issuance. It is so ordered. Dated at Kampala, this 29th day of October, 2024. So I have been asked to display the executive order. Display the top sheet. Display the top sheet. All stand. So my colleagues will all stand and join me. You can come closer. You can zoom in, okay? This is right. So now the part is done. I hand over to the secretary to lead us through the rest of
As per our agenda, the President will move to the podium and have media reactions.
Let him give us in Uganda.
Some Luganda.
All that is now.
Let me know, yeah?
Zijikuba mikrofoni kaka.
What we're going to do, we're going to have English reactions first. I will take a break. And then we can have the Uganda version later, right? There will be a break. So, But I think before we start, Secretary and Vice President, we missed an important part of the protocol. We imagine that our colleagues, because we know them, we imagine they know us very well. Yeah. So I'm going to request that maybe you come and join me here, to stand with me here, and introduce you afresh, and then we can enter questions. You can come and hold this one. That's the call. So we can run on. It's perfect. So all right. So okay. So I am Ssemakadde, President of the General Society. To my left.
A second. Good to go.
My name is Ssemakadde, President of the General Society. To my left is my Vice President, Honorable Anthony Asizu. To my right is our Honorable Secretary, Mr. Philip Munab. To my second left is our Honorary Treasurer, Mr. Isiko Arthur. To my second right is our Honorary Council Member representing the Central Region, Mr. Jeffrey Williamson. To my third left is our Honorary Council Member representing the Eastern Region, Mr. Edmund Nangulu. And online, we have two council members. One for the Western Region, Honorable Mr. Samuel Muhumuza, and the Honorary Council Member representing the Northern Region, Honorable Mr. Engwalu Emmanuel. That is our Radical New Bar Governing Council for the year 2024-2025. We are now ready for to engage with you for your reactions in English.
Thank you so much, Council. My name is Farouk.
Yes.
My question is, you have indicated that the two were illegally or have been illegally at the Judicial Service Commission. And I understand they have participated in a number of activities, including the recruitment of judicial officers and firing some of the judicial officers. What is the consequence of this action in a broader perspective?
Thank you. The specific decisions in which they have been involved shall suffer specific reaction by specific individuals who are affected. So we are not at liberty to make comment at this moment on specific cases of either appointment or recruitment that they did. What we can tell you is that we have, by the decision taken today, recalled them, and that in itself requires them to stop any further business, right? And any old business that they've handled is now open to scrutiny. All right, the consequences for which shall follow the action specific individuals who take that scrutiny, will take. But short answer, all their past decisions are now open to rigorous scrutiny. And the Judicial Service Commission is hereby warned to stop involving them in any further business. As of midday today, when we have issued our report, our executive order, RNB number 2, 2024, they are radioactive members of the Judicial Service Commission. They will poison anything they touch. But maybe to answer you more specifically, under the Judicial Service Commission Act and regulations, the argument can be made that they were absent during those actions. And there's a rule called the effect of a vacancy. Now, a vacancy does not invalidate a decision, right? There may have been quorum without them, but if there was no quorum, then that raises quorum problems. Yes. So it's a very sophisticated, all right? Yeah. But for us, we have informed the members of the public that truth. They can now deal with, put it to logical consequences in their own private capacity.
Yes, are there costs attached that the society has been using during their period of occupancy in those positions?
Yes, there's a non-cash cost. We have suffered great reputational toll as the bar, as the legal profession. Yes, we have suffered lack of accountability and reporting, and we have also been found wanting in the eyes of our own members and the public for failing to stand up and speak up against a manifest violation of the Constitution. So for which we apologize and make amends, as we have made amends today. Thank you.
President, so after calling them, now are you opening space to start the process of putting their members, new members?
Yes, we have by this executive order, number 2.
How long is it going to, and how long is it going to take?
Now that's a matter for our bureaucracy to manage. But we have issued the general framework that before the 31st of December 2024, there shall be an election for replacement of members of the Judicial Service Commission representing the Uganda Law Society. But that's not all. There shall also be a process to require greater public participation in the composition of every other member of the Judicial Service Commission in terms of Article 146. For your information, Article 146 of the Constitution creates the following, avenues for membership. Number 1, Article 146, sub-Article 2A, a chairperson and deputy, who shall be persons qualified to be a judge of the Supreme Court of Uganda. Now, we have taken the position that is, as the Constitution says in Article 146, sub-Article 6, it's a full-time position, for which if you were an advocate, you must show proof of resignation from your law firm and from active legal practice during your tenure. What is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. If you are a judicial officer in this country and you are appointed to the position of either chairperson or deputy, it follows that you must also relinquish that office. It is incompatible with the principle of independence of the judiciary and fidelity to the job of a judge to hold another full-time position anywhere else, either in government or in the private sector. All right? So this calls into question past practice of appointing serving judges in that capacity. Our Radical New Bar Governing Council will challenge any further repetition of that practice. Article 146, sub-Article 2B says the president will receive a nominee, will receive and appoint a nominee of the Public Service Commission. By our executive order, R&B number of 2024, we have put the Public Service Commission on notice that they will have to prove to the public what are the fair, reasonable, and objective criteria they use to process that nominee. All right? They are nominated to the president for appointment as a member of the Judicial Service Commission. No one even knows them. All right? So, Article 42, Sub-Article 2C is what we've talked about. Nominees of the Uganda Law Society being advocates of not less than 15 years standing with good moral and ethical conduct and competence. Advocates that command the respect of the whole bar in a demonstrable manner, namely an election. So, as the court ruled on the 2nd of February 2024. So that we have covered extensively, we've understood. The other member of the Judicial Service Commission is a judge of the Supreme Court, elected by the senior bench, namely judges of the Supreme Court, judges of the Court of Appeal, known as Justices of Appeal, and judges of the High Court. So they must sit as they usually do, as they annually do in their annual judges conference, and process a name which they send to the president as their representative in the Judicial Service Commission. I don't think the judiciary has a complaint about their representative, as we do. We know for sure that for them they have been electing their representative. Yet the same chance has been denied to the bar. That ends now. Lastly, there are two members of the public who the president selects himself using a procedure we don't know, a procedure we can't account for. By our executive order R&B number 2 of 2024, we also put the presidency on notice that the selection criteria the presidency uses to select two members of the public who are not lawyers. The Constitution specifies who are not lawyers, because literally everybody else above is a lawyer. So those two are not lawyers. How does the president select them? For all we know, he has been appointing people that are not fit and proper for the job, and not up to the task. And we shall be sharing more information showing the history of these appointments in the course of time. So I hope I've answered you clearly. You now have a sense of the terrain we are dealing with. The Judicial Service Commission is the most important constitutional body that can set the tone for judicial reform. So we can deal with individual cases, fix this and fix that. But if we do not start from the top, we shall be shirking our obligation as leaders of the National Bar Association. Any further questions, or you're satisfied? You're satisfied?
Uganda.
No. We would like a brief. Just if you can give us some time. We have some tea, and then we do Uganda. All right? You've had me.
Yes.
Okay? There is tea. Let's have some more.
We are coming back for Uganda.
And we come back
It's
from
fine.
Uganda.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay? Council business is prepared in English. So let us now prepare the Uganda brief, all right?
Banange tukyagenda mu maaso, omusajja eriyo bajja eyo mwakategedde ako iyo bajja babadde basavinga irigale kitegeera Kiriwo gena funa muku kachayi entuzo just going for a break then to come.
mwana kalina ekikolamukola kabisinga enda kakasuka enda kajjana Council Tulia Musime is council representing for Central. Tulia Musime. Council Tulia Musime. This one. Maria Namkwaya. They're coming back. Just a break. Bakomao. Just a break. Bakomao with Uganda.
So guys, Mr. President is coming back. He's coming back just after a short time, just after a break. Ajja tuwe mu Luganda. Abaganda abatakategedde mu Luzungu agenda tuwa mu Luganda waneeno. So temuvaako, is coming after a short time. After this break. So tosagansagana just tufunako kachai ndowooza mukategedde. Tumala kunywa ku kachai, mukimanyi emirimu twagigonza. Then tugende mu maaso.
If we sacrifice this,
Banange Mr. President ajja anytime agenda kwogera nammwe. Bakyatereeza mu Luganda katono kati agenda kwogera nammwe in Luganda just a short time from now. Ssemakadde nsooke nsomeko Mukono Michael ki ekiriwo. Ssemakadde's chambers are located where? Our lawyer, yo, hi guys. Mary client, sorry, Millicent, thank you so much for keeping it extra media yogi. With Julie, Edwin, thank you. Casper, thank you for being on. Maria, thank you for being on. Midland, Cargo, thank you. So anytime President Aranukuja addressing mu Luganda, so be on.
Ssemakadde.
Sinada.
Yeah, it's alright.
Hold on here. We're going to discuss this.